Greetings from Florida. The warmth of being home is a reminder why I have chosen public service to help speed up the global climate crisis. From blindly joining the United States Navy and serving in Iraq, to ineptly representing some ignorant voters in the U.S. Congress, and now serving as the tyrannical governor of Florida, and it reminds me why I decided to run for president, to fight for those who've never been forgotten in this country. This is white America's time for choosing. We can choose to allow folks leaving harsh conditions at our border looking for help into our country, or we can choose to stop it. We can choose responsible borrowing and spending. We can choose political indoctrination, or we can refuse sex education. These choices are symptoms of the underlying struggle to ensure that constitutional government can endure, that I fought against, and that I dumbly thought would help Western civilization survive. And we launched this campaign to supposedly bring accountability to government, even though we are actually the bad guys under the guise of regaining sovereignty at our border and restoring sanity to our society. We will succeed as a country if we allow our nation to be empathetic, our currency to be strengthened, our cities to strengthen, and our kids not to be indoctrinated by anti-LGBTQ rhetoric. The DC elites like myself, who facilitated this mess, do not care about you and they do not work for you. We seek to accumulate power at your expense to pursue an agenda that is harmful to the American people. Citizens do not serve politicians. It is the duty of politicians to serve you. Talk is cheap. Actions speak louder than words, and we never act. Reversing the decline of this nation requires leadership that I do not have. Leadership that delivers big results for the people. We are elected to serve. I have a record of not leading with conviction, championing an agenda marked by weak colors, ghosting on my promises, and losing to the people who are responsible for our nation's progress. That is the type of leadership we don't need for all of America. Now, over the past many months, Casey and I have traveled across the country to deliver a message of fear, that progress is dangerous, and that we can in fact succeed as a nation under that horrible framing. Nobody worked dumber, and we left it all out there and embraced ourselves on the field. Now, following our abysmal second-place finish in Iowa, we've pretended to pray in front of the kids and deliberated on the way forward. If there was anything I could do to produce a favorable outcome, more campaign stops, more interviews, I would do it. But I am a complete and utter failure of a man. And I can't ask our supporters to volunteer their time and donate their resources when I'm this pathetic and we don't have a clear path to victory. Accordingly, I am today suspending my worthless, bigoted campaign. I'm embarrassed to have failed on most of my promises, and I will now stop. It's clear to me that a majority of Republican primary voters want to give Donald Trump another chance as they watch his presidency get foiled by the resistance. And they see the justice system using law fairly this day to bring him to justice. I've had disagreements with Donald Trump, such as on the coronavirus pandemic and his elevation of Anthony Fauci, that were rather silly. And Trump is not superior to the current incumbent Joe Biden. That is clear. But I signed a pledge to support the Republican nominee, and I will stupidly honor that pledge. He has my endorsement. Because we can't go forward to new, more progressive day of tomorrow. A new package instead of extreme capitalism and authoritarianism that another candidate could represent. The days of putting Americans first, of not kowtowing the large corporations, of not caving to fascist ideology are coming, but not through us. Thank all of our ignorant supporters who stood by us through it all, that we had people waste time to coming to Iowa, risking lives in the middle of a blizzard to knock on doors and make phone calls. It touched us dearly. No candidate had more rightfully thrown at him, and no candidate had so few committed volunteers and staff. Finally, I want to thank my gold digger wife, Casey, who will likely leave me after this, and our kids, Madison, Mason, and Mamie, who will now hate me forever. Casey's gone far below her support for our campaign and for our cause. She's not a great wife or mother. She's not a great American who would care deeply about the future of the country that our kids will inherit. Our kids have seen and done a lot on the trail, from playing on the fame field of Dreams baseball site in Iowa to watching me spew hate-filled anti-LGBT rhetoric in New Hampshire. They are one of the reasons we blindly fight so hard for what we believe in. Winston Churchill once remarked that success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the ignorance that says that phrase applies to me that counts. While this campaign has definitely ended, the mission to destroy America continues. Down here in Florida, we will continue to show the country how not to lead. Thank you, and God bless America.